Hey there, today we're going to be shaving our head, or rather, I'm going to be shaving my head, and I'm going to show you the process by which I go about that. So, we'll begin by running our hot water. It'll take a little bit to get it hot. The razor I'm using is a cheap little disposable Mach 3, it's brand new. I can normally get maybe 2 head shaves out of one of these, just because they start to dull a little bit, and it begins to get uncomfortable. So, the water's warming up. I'm going to show you guys a little trick that I use. I actually found it out from another YouTube video, but it's conditioner. So using conditioner, the video I saw, the guy recommended using it in place of shaving cream. I'm a little skeptical about that, so I apply a thin layer of conditioner and then I apply shaving cream to my head. And the water is sufficiently hot. So I do it in sort of like quadrants, where I do the top and then the sides and then the back. So we're going to start off with the top. I'm just wetting the top some with some hot water. I just showered actually. I just got out of the shower. And the water's going to run down my face a little bit. That's fine. So we got about that much conditioner. Lather into our hands and then apply it to the top of my head. Wash that off, and then I'm not using any special shaving cream. It's actually like cheap value shaving cream. And with this, it's pretty bad quality, but it works. A trick that I use though is I express a little bit of it first before I just got way too much. I did like a face shaving amount. My bad. But then I'll apply this over the conditioner to the top of my head and get a decent coat on there. And I actually get some fine hairs that grow all the way up here, so I do have to shave that far forward, even though it might not look like it. So, yeah, apply our shaving cream, rinse our hands off. And heat up the razor under the water, and we'll get going. So I use short strokes. Even though the hair is pretty thin up top, I try to keep it a little safety first. Long strokes can give you some irritation and it can also lead to cut. So I use short strokes. In this first pass here, I'm just going with the grain. And I'm just really trying to knock it down, because later on, we're going to go against the grain. And you'll see once we get to the back, I don't use any fancy mirrors like behind the head tricks. I just use my hands for feeling to make sure that I haven't missed any spots. So, all right, that's the top of our head. My head, I don't know why I keep saying our. I'm making this like a group effort here. Rinse it off. I got a towel hanging over here. So I'll wipe off the extra there. I do a first pass over my whole head before I go for a second pass against the grain and sideways. So now we'll work on our sides. I'm just throwing some hot water on the sides. And I'm gonna dry my face off a little bit from the extra water, and back to our shaving cream, or conditioner. So, I don't use a whole lot. And we'll work that into the sides, just like that. And we'll take our conditioner, shaving cream, getting backwards here. Apply that to the side of our head. I've been shaving my head for about 3 years now. I guess I've sort of embraced the hair loss as much as I can. It's not that I like being bald, but it looks better being bald than with 3 or 4 days of growth, and that's where male pattern baldness really begins to show itself. So I figured I'd take control of it and try to shave my head pretty regularly. And we'll begin with our right side. So I try to pull the skin just a little bit to create a more taut surface area to help the razor not get caught on anything. Luckily, I don't have any blemishes on my head, like moles or scars or anything like that, so I don't have to worry about running over something. I do, for whatever reason, get the occasional bit of acne on my head, usually on the back of my head, and sometimes I'll run over that and it'll bleed a little bit, but it's never a big deal. And we can just go ahead and go sideways now. I don't like going against the grain on anywhere except the back of my head because I can get a close shave going sideways here on the side, and it's just a lot more comfortable for me. I've actually got a drop of water at the tip of my nose right now. It's tickling me. I'm not the quickest at this. I try to be a little more meticulous. If I was using a better razor, like a Gillette Fusion, I could go a little faster, be a little less careful with my speed and stroke distance, but I'm not, so I'm taking my time here. I last shaved my head, I think it was Thursday morning. So I have about 2 full days of growth here. It's currently Saturday morning, where I am here in San Diego. Now we're gonna go sideways. I don't switch hands usually when I'm working on my left side, just because feels a little more stable in my right hand. Like I have a little more control, dexterity, if you were wondering. Shaving my head the past 3 years is actually, I didn't realize it, but I've saved a decent bit of money, because I used to go every 2 weeks to get a haircut, which would cost me $15 plus a $5 tip. I'd always tip $5. And doing this, I'm spending maybe a couple of dollars a week on supplies, shaving cream and razors and water. Alright, so that's against it, or sideways on the sides, and just drive the head off. Now we can work on the back, the tricky spot. So we'll wet the back of the head. And I can't see, I'm going to dry my face off. Alright, I don't want any shaving cream water running into my eyes. Ooh, I forgot to get the conditioner first. We can do this. Jesus. Don't need a lot. Not a lot at all. Work down to the back of the head and then apply our shaving cream. I just sort of go balls to the wall with it on the back of my head because I can't see anything. Running at 10 minutes already, jeez. I guess this isn't really a tip video, it's just showing you what I do. So I start on my right side and just work my way across the top, going down to about just above the center of the back of my head. Also, the way I hold the razor is with my fingers on it like this. I get a little more control, because otherwise you don't get enough tension or pressure on the head. because of this flexing movement of the head. So I try to apply a little force myself with my fingers here. And we're going with the grain and working our way down. And I sort of have OCD when it comes to this. I'm always paranoid I'm going to miss a spot, so I work over spots pretty regularly. All right, I should have been up the top of the back of my head, and now start working down. Now the hair around the middle of the back of my head and down is thicker than at the top because the way my hair loss is, it's sort of in a half moon shape on the back of my head, starting from the top. So the hair actually gets thicker as it goes down, sort of like Larry David style. All right, so that was our first pass, and it's all right that it definitely wasn't perfect, but what I'll do now is feel the back of my head and see where exactly I need to focus on for the next pass. So near the top on the sides, which is pretty common with this razor. Those spots are just a little tricky for some reason. So we'll reapply the shaving cream. And we'll actually go against the grain on this pass. Well, we'll go sideways and then against the grain. Back of the head is definitely the more time-consuming location. You can probably hear I'm still catching a lot of hairs here on the back. So my first with the grain pass was definitely not sufficient. Yeah, feels better. I wish I had like tips, I guess, for doing this, tips that I've learned along the way. I guess I really don't. Just take your time at first. Even now, I still definitely take my time. Because a cut on the head will bleed terribly, and it's just not worth it. If you have the time, take your time. So I'm going to go against the grain to try to get the closest shave possible on the back of my head because the hair is so thick back there. And for anyone watching this who's maybe hesitant about shaving their head, I say just go for it. Because the good news is it'll just grow right back. I don't think it's true. Well, it's almost definitely not true that if you shave your head, it'll grow back thinner. Or actually, what did they say? Well, they say it'll grow back thicker, right? Like if you shave your mustache. But they also say if you shave your head when your hair is thinning, then it will grow back less thick. And I just don't know that to be true. I can't see that being true. Certainly, it's not in my experience true. And I'm just spot feeling the back of the head. Save water. Don't do what I just did. Hopefully anyone watching this can get an appreciation for what it takes to be bald and to keep up with it. It's a bit of a process. And it takes commitment, and it's easy to not want to do it, but you know, when I don't shave my head, I get really self-conscious about how it looks. So it's easier for me to, and I hate wearing a hat because it feels like, you know, I'm deceiving people when I wear a hat to cover up my baldness, and I figure I might as well embrace it because someone's going to like it eventually, right? Someone will be attracted to it. And then the last pass I'll do is just against the grain on the top of my head. And if I'm doing this for work, like on a workday morning, I won't go against the grain because I think it looks perfectly fine. With the grain, that sort of gray, grainy stubble look. But I'm not really sure why I'm doing it today. But I am. And it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect to where it's totally smooth. No one's going to notice unless they're feeling your head, which is going to happen. People love feeling your head when you're bald. But I guess it comes with the territory. And the good news is at least someone's touching you. I don't know why I said that. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That is as shaved a head as you are ever gonna get. Some water over it. And then dry this beautiful head off. And I'll just feel around, see if I missed any spots. Don't think I did. And then the last thing I'll do is it can be a little tricky to get the spots behind the ears. So this is an old razor. It would be pretty uncomfortable if I used it to shave my whole head, but it has the trimmer there on the back, which is really helpful for getting around the ears. It's the biggest spot that you're likely to miss if you don't have a trimmer edge like that. And yeah, just like that. That's the head. And as far as I can tell, I didn't cut myself. And thanks for watching, guys.